Hi guys, it's Miss Zach. I just want to show you a little something about resolution. Normally we use Photoshop when we deal with anything that has to do with resolution, and that's because Illustrator is vector art, and vector art is always um, it's a mathematical equation, so your graphics actually convert automatically to the correct resolution whenever it's needed. So in regards to Photoshop, I'm going to show you how to set up a file. So you start with File, New, and this window will pop up. Looks a little confusing. I tend to stay away from these pre-made tabs here because I just don't really know what the difference of art illustration versus, I don't know, print, because that could be the same. So I tried to stay away, and this is fairly new through the updated software. We never used to have these tabs up here, so I'm kind of stuck with the regular way of custom. Um, And it doesn't even matter which custom you pick because no, even if this is highlighted, you still take care of what happens over here regardless of which one of these you have. In fact, these are recent items, and the odds of you needing something from the past to be what you're doing now, it might be kind of odd. So I would just kind of ignore what's happening up here and ignore what's happening over here and just look at this section. As always, throughout the years, Photoshop only showed you this section. So, and that's why this part's the only important part. You can choose to title it now by typing something here. Like if I write title, doesn't matter. You can keep it untitled and title it later when you save it, or do it there. Now look real closely at width. I have it set to 20 inches. That's pretty big, and that cannot print outside of our regular classroom, regular printer or your home printers. So I would watch that. I would make sure it's letter size, which is 8.5. I'm typing that in now. And height would be 11. And keep it in inches. Watch out. Be careful. If you see points, you're going to come up with something crazy. Points are really tiny. Pixels are too. They're little squares. I would stay out of them and stay with inches because we can visualize inches better in the classroom and at home. And this is something we like to talk with normally. Then there's orientation. Do you want it like where it's the width is less than the height, or do you want it the opposite? You see how the width just changed to 11 and 8.5 went over here? So I'm going to keep it at the typical, you can see the picture of it straight up here, width 8.5 inches, height 11, and then look down. You have resolution. This was by default set at 72. That is for the web. If I want to make a graphic for a website or I want to put a photo on a website or social media, I should definitely keep it at 72. If I want to print it, I should change that to 300. And yes, keep it at pixels per inch, not pixels per centimeter. That should already be there, pixels per inch. You should be okay there. Then you have color mode. RGB is for web. So if this was 72 and this is for a website, you would have 72 and RGB. If you're doing it for print, this should be 300 and this should be CMYK. Rarely do we ever hit it to grayscale now. If you really want it to be black and white now, so we really rarely ever have to do that. And you can leave the background contents to white. That's good for designing purposes. Just leave that. I don't even click on this advanced options. Just leave it as it is. So here we go, 8.5 by 11, 300 CMYK. This file is ready to be set up for print. I'm going to hit create. It's going to look like a piece of paper. And there it is. If I do Control 0, I can see it top and the bottom completely. And I'm ready to design for printing. Now, what if I want something for the web? I'm going to do File, New. Remember, I'm going to ignore this. I'm going to ignore up here, and I'm just going to figure out what size I want. Sometimes it's just best to work in a letter size, 8.5 by 11, and just work within the middle of it. So if I do want to do it that way, or it's a photo I'm looking at, I'm going to change the resolution to 72, go to RGB. That's it. This is now ready. I'm going to hit create. It's going to look the same because we're looking at the on a screen here. So over here is for print, and this is for web. Web automatically went kind of small because it's 72 pixels per inch, whereas over here was 300 pixels per inch. So that is it, print and web, print and web. I'm going to open up photo now, because you'll be doing that a lot. Open up a photo. I'll just look at my desktop and see whatever photo I can find. I have this boat sitting on my desktop all the time. I'm gonna open up this boat. And let's take a look at the resolution it was already set as. I did grab this off the web. So I'm going to go to Image, Image Size, and look. How about that? It's already set to 72 because it came off the web. However, boy, that's a big photo. That's 28 inches wide. So therefore, if I change that to 300, watch the width and the height go smaller. I had to uncheck resample, otherwise it wasn't going to work. It was going to make it blurry. It would have had unexpected results. So I had to uncheck resample. Now, when I changed the 72 to 300, you notice that went from 20 something inches down to 6. But it is prepared for the web. But I have to accept that smaller size. If I hit OK, you're not going to notice, because we're looking at a screen, you're not going to notice much of something happening. Hit cancel on that. So when you want to adjust something through resolution after you already opened it, or you want to check it out, go to Image, Image Size. There's your width and your height. There's your 72 for the web. Remember, if I wanted to change to 300, I have to expect that width and the height to go down. But I have to uncheck resample for it to actually happen correctly. If I want to change, since that's so big, I might not want to upload something 28 inches on a website. I would probably want to upload something 6 inches. If I type 6, the height automatically adjusts to 4.5, and that's good. Otherwise, it would have been distorted. So make sure that link is always there, this link right here. And now watch what happens when I hit OK. Got a little tiny. That's not exactly 6 inches accordingly to our site, but it is to the aspects of this. Now watch when I go to, if I show rulers, you can see, look at those tiny things. I'm going to zoom in, Control++. Now look at the top. 0 starts here, 6 is here. That's 6 inches. You see the pixels starting to show you? When you zoom in on a 72 dpi photo, it gets blurry. Watch me zoom more. Start to see the pixels. Look at the squares. With that, you can count them. You can see their colors. Here are the pixels per inch. 72 dpi is 72 pixels per inch. There we go. Okay, so that's it for resolution. Take care.